see in the title, it'll be about tips and tricks when braiding and how to cut down your time when braiding. So we're gonna get right into the video, and my first tip is to separate your hair. So the braiding hair that you use, or how many packs you plan on using for a head, whether it be medium, small, medium, large, what I do is I separate all the hair that I plan on using for that appointment style. And it is a very grueling process, but it is very worth it in the end, because you won't have to stop during your appointment to refill your braiding rags, and it just keeps the process flowing. Filling your racks up beforehand, whether it be the night before or a couple hours before your client comes, it's very beneficial, because since the rack is already filled and all the packs that you're going to use is already laid out and separated, it won't be a problem when you go to start braiding, because then you won't have to stop and waste time to fill the rack back up, and you can just keep going and keep braiding until you're done. My second tip is pre-parting. Pre-parting helps to plan out and see your rows beforehand, and it's especially helpful when you feel you're starting to get lazy towards the end. It'll just give you a outline of what your final product is going to look like. I personally don't pre-part every single time I braid, but I try to. It honestly depends on how I feel. Like if it's a small style, I probably will pre-part, or probably won't. It all literally just depends on how I feel. But I know when I do pre-part, sometimes it does help me, but you have to really pay attention when you pre-part, because sometimes it can also throw you off. My third tip is using product bands. Personally, I use 2 product bands, as you can see, because I use 2 different gels when I'm doing knotless braids. So at the roots, you see me putting on the green shining gem, the shining gem that comes in a green container. And then when I blend my client's hair with the braiding hair and tucking it and things like that, I use the yellow shining gem. I use 2 different gels because the green shining gem has the best hold for all different types of textures. I feel like I've come across many different types of textures, and I just feel like that's literally the best. And the yellow shining gem, it holds, but it doesn't hold all textures, but it does tuck all textures. So that's what I use when blending my client's hair with the braiding hair. My fourth tip is using a comb that you're not using during the appointment to spread your product onto the product band. So for example, I use a comb, like I said, that I don't use during the appointment, and I scoop some out of the shining gem containers and spread it on my product band. I just feel like it's easier than scooping it on your fingers and then putting it on the product band, because then you have excess on your fingers. And especially if you wear like acrylics when you braid hair, it saves the amount of product that gets under your nails too, and that can be hard to get out. So just spreading it with the comb, I found it to be easier, and it also saves product too, so you're not wasting product, if that makes sense. My fifth tip is using duck clips to mark where your last piece of hair will go. I took them out right here because I was on my last braid, but I used duck clips to mark where my last piece will go, so all my braids will be the same length. And I found that to be very beneficial because you won't have different braids with different lengths and things like that. It's pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, that's what I use the duck clips for, and I literally always use them, especially because I don't count how many pieces of hair I put in each braid. So if you don't count how many pieces of hair you put in each braid, then I highly recommend using duck clips. It's not that I don't want to count, it's just that I lose track easily, and I don't know how many inches from the last piece of hair I added, and it's just, I find using duck clips more convenient than actually counting how many pieces of hair you put in each braid. My final tip is braiding down each braid when you're finished. I found that this completely saves time because you're not braiding all the way down each time you finish a braid, but braiding at the end definitely saves time. I don't braid at the end each time, but when I can, I do. And also using a razor instead of scissors to make sure all your braids are the same length, or to cut braids if they're too long, is better, because if you use scissors it'll give like a blunt cut, but using a razor will give like a look that is not blunt, and a natural look basically, and it also prevents from having like strangleys everywhere. So yeah, that's what I also do. But yeah, I'm no braid expert, but these are the tips and tricks that I've come across in my experiences and learning phases and things like that. I'm still learning, as you can see, and yeah, but those are the tips and tricks that I've learned so far. And I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to share. And I'll see you guys in my next video.